Are you glad to be back for another year?
Of course. It feels good to be back.
Is it really?
Yeah.
How are things, I was just asking Joe, how are things different from you now compared to a year ago when you first got here?
I'm setting the tone this time instead of like CB or Jay Will like showing us the way. Now it's like me, Joe, Cam, like returners, showing these younger guys the way.
And are you ready for that?
Yeah.
You mentioned younger guys, but they're a year behind you.
Yeah.
Do you already feel that way because of the experience from last year?
I mean, we did everything you can for college basketball, so like we've seen it all. I mean, we didn't do as much as the other guys, but like we watched them and like learned off them. So, and the young guys didn't get to do that, so we got to teach them what we learned.
What were your biggest takeaways for you from last season, that whole run and everything about it?
Just approaching every day with a good mindset. Because if you don't, then it's gonna be a rough day. If you're just hoping for the worst, it's gonna be bad. But if you're like, you want to go get it done, it's gonna be good.
You've only had a couple days with Gradey coming up here to Lawrence, but what have been some of the biggest growths you've seen in his game from when you left him in high school to where he's at now?
I think he's attacking a lot more because when I was playing with him, he was really just like a shooter, and so I think he's getting to the rim a lot better, which is good because he's just a taller guy. So
At this point, do you know much about the other freshmen that are coming in and kind of their respective games?
yeah, I think I know pretty much. Like as a hooper, you just can like tell what people can do, what they can't. So it's just like, yeah.
So give us a breakdown. What can these guys do?
Gradey, shooter, starting to drive, Ernest, big, finish around the rim. Zuby hasn't got here. McCullough hasn't got here. Wilder, shooter. We haven't really seen some of the other guys.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys before you've come and as freshmen did maybe get to play a lot and then the second year made that jump. Are you ready to get going?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last year was it wasn't a hard year for me, but it was just like a up and down just with everything I went through and stuff like that. So.
And I think there's been some videos of you and Cam already working out. Have you stopped at all since the title game? Have you taken a break or have you?
I took maybe like a week. That's about it. Not too long.
What are some of the biggest things you've been trying to work on in the offseason?
Honestly, everything, because I mean, just prepare for the whole thing. So.
We didn't get to see you a ton, like necessarily being in the post. Like you said, you have other guys playing at that position throughout the season. We see a lot shooting threes and stuff, but how would you define kind of your post game on the block?
I think it's good. I think I'm getting used to the speed and size of it, so it's gonna be a lot easier.
Have you worked on trying to get stronger, bulk up, any of that
Yeah,
kind
for
of
sure.
stuff? What's the process? What's the workouts like?
Well, just eat everything and lift. It's tough, but that's just how it goes.
How many calories a day?
A lot. I don't count, but it's a lot. Too much.
What are you up to now?
225. Trying to get to 235.
What were you last year?
218. Something like that.
You seem to have the confidence and the readiness. Is that important? I mean, does that make maybe a little bit easier taking on a new role?
I don't know. I've always been confident in myself because I mean, why not? Like, why not be your biggest fan? So like, I just feel like it's like mindset. I just go back to that. Like, why have a bad mindset when you can have a good one?
You think it's fair to say Gradey's a goofy guy?
Oh, I'm right there with him though. That's my guy.
Are there any moments that stand out of Gradey being just that kind of a teammate?
Yeah. I mean, I've known him a lot, so like I definitely seen a lot more than like KJ and like them because he was my roommate senior year.
He was named, I think, the Gatorade High School Player of the Year and one of the top like shooters in
Yeah.
high school basketball. When you add a guy like that to the roster, what can it do to the other guys when a guy like that can shoot it as well as he can and drive and do all those things?
It makes it tough. It's just depth to your team. Just having someone like that on your roster just makes it hard.
What do you think your role is going to be next year?
Well, I don't know because we have to figure out how everyone gets used to each other and how we play together. So I mean, depending on that, I mean, I guess we'll find out real soon.
What's your goal then? What would you like to be able to accomplish?
Anything I can do to win. Whatever it has to do. So
Sure.
whatever.
Is that kind of a weird balance in the center room? Like obviously with Dave graduating, there's a starting spot up for grabs at the center, but you guys are all teammates and all friends and everything.
Nah, I just think it's like, I mean, we all come here to play basketball, so it's just like, it's just competitive. It's fun.
Where did you spend break the last few weeks?
Here, Lawrence.
Oh, why?
Oh, I was just working out here the whole time.
Oh.
I think I went home for like a week.
Do you have a favorite memory with
He's a goof. He's a good guy though.
Can that carefree attitude, kind of what you're describing, can that help you guys on the court?
Yeah, I think not being nervous and like just going with the flow is something everyone needs, because everyone's usually uptight, and it's just then you start playing a little off and stuff, and just be yourself, you know.
You said you guys were roommates, but he's a guy too like you that committed early. I don't think you took really any visits, and he decided early too. Did you know early on that, I mean, is he passionate about this place? I know he's
Yeah,
got
for
some
sure.
siblings.
I think
too.
he's from here, so it's like, and if you go into his room back home, he got, you know, KU stuff on the wall and stuff. So I mean, yeah, he's definitely a fan of this place.
What do you think of Joseph's game? How would you describe it?
Oh, Joe's great, fast, athletic, smart. So I mean, he's gonna be fun to watch this year.
A big scorer compared to maybe what he did last year.
Yeah, well, we were like in the same boat because he had Remy and stuff. So it was different last year because we had a bunch of big dogs in the team.
Joe had talked a little bit about kind of being in a funk in some ways because of just not having those just the minutes he wanted, the ability to score, do his thing. You missed that stretch with toe. How much did you try to fight through some of that stuff too, and how much can you relate maybe in a different way of what you went through?
Well, I tried to fight through some of it, but then it just hit me, and I was just like, nah, it's not worth it. Like, I'm gonna let them do their thing. I'm just get better and get ready for whenever I can play next. So,
When did that hit you?
like 2 days after, it was hurting pretty bad.
All right, Zach, thank you.